Apple is the most successful tech company in the world. From smartphones to smartwatches, they've unleashed one smash after another. A smart TV, on the other hand, is conspicuously absent. Which is remarkable given that Steve Jobs essentially founded Pixar, a film studio. However, it's understandable that Jobs would want to design the ideal television for watching Pixar films. But going into that line of work was never a good idea. Let's start with one of the most compelling reasons why Apple will not produce a smart TV. That is to say, the update process is exceedingly slow. So-called industry experts advise that you replace your television every 7 to 8 years. However, most individuals don't replace their television until it fails or there is a significant change in display technology. It's like going from DLP to plasma, then LCD, LED, and finally OLED. However, these transitions occur every 10 years or so, and even then, most customers aren't concerned about upgrading until their TVs break. And in the electronics business, where buyers often clamber for the latest gadget, that's a rather rare trait. In fact, I'd suggest that TV buying tendencies are more like those of household appliances than those of digital devices. You'll buy a new microwave or refrigerator when you move out. However, you won't expect the arrival of a new version. Instead, you'll stick with the one you have until you're compelled to replace it. That's how people handle television, which is a major issue for Apple. They aim to compete in industries where upgrades are made often. Computers, tablets, and cell phones, for example. Using the same computer or phone for 10 years is far more difficult than using the same TV. As a result, Apple would be obliged to recruit new consumers every year in order to maintain strong sales, which is a considerably more challenging task than merely selling improved items to existing customers. However, the television sector faces another financial problem. Apple is accustomed to hardware margins of around 35%. In comparison to other tech firms, this is pretty impressive. Televisions, on the other hand, are famously low-margin items, with margins ranging from 10% to 20%. When you combine low sales volume with low profit margins, you end up with an industry that isn't worth Apple's time and money. But, if Apple did produce a high-priced smart TV with a 35% profit margin, what exactly would make their model so unique that it could command a significantly higher price? A television is not the same as a computer, phone, or tablet. It isn't reliant on a sophisticated operating system or on continual human input. It's just something you look at when watching a video. And, while a wonderful software interface and an app ecosystem are nice to have, they aren't quite enough to justify a considerably higher asking price. The quality of the display panel is the most important aspect for television customers. The contrast ratio, refresh rate, brightness, and pixel density are all factors to consider. All of these factors take precedence in the thoughts of customers. And, to be honest, it isn't Apple's strong suit. Despite the fact that they design some fantastic displays for their devices, manufacturing is always done by a third party, like Samsung or LG. These businesses also have a strong hold on the smart television industry. As a result, an Apple television would essentially be a Samsung panel in a somewhat better enclosure with some additional software functions. And incremental gains are insufficient. With the HomePod, Apple has already committed this error. It boasted the finest sound quality of any smart speaker, as well as a gorgeous design and seamless connectivity with other Apple devices. Even yet, the $350 price tag wasn't enough to justify its existence, and it was eventually phased out. That gets me to the second difficulty, distinctions. How would Apple differentiate their TV from the competition? In terms of design, the stand has become the only visually distinguishing feature between models. When mounted, smart TVs all look almost identical, so customers are unlikely to notice a small design enhancement. As I have stated, Apple could significantly improve the operating system and provide a valuable app ecosystem. They could also develop a more advanced and intuitive remote. They could also effortlessly incorporate other Apple products. Those would be the distinguishing elements of Apple's television, which would set it apart from the competition. However, practically all of those enhancements are software-based. The only piece of gear required is a remote. As a result, it appears that Apple does not require the creation of a television. The software, not the display panel, stand, or power line, delivers value to clients. And it just so happens that Apple specializes in software. And it's something they excel at more than Samsung or LG. The best part, though, is that the software is inexpensive. There are no production costs, lab or fabrication investments, or large boxes to ship or store in warehouses. That's why Apple concentrated on TV software rather than on television hardware. People already own televisions, so selling them a $150 box of software that improves their viewing experience is a lot easier than selling them a brand new $3,000 or $4,000 television. The Apple TV is the software box in question. This takes care of all of the issues I stated earlier. The item itself is quite small. As a result, manufacturing and shipping are both inexpensive. Apple can maintain a high profit margin because it does not require a large number of pricey components. It's rather easy to persuade users to update a $150 box with valuable new capabilities when it comes to upgradability. Especially when you're in charge of the remote, which is the most critical piece of equipment any TV requires. Apple has upgraded the Apple TV remote before, and it's probable that they'll do so again soon. They've also added new capabilities such as speedier processors, 4K compatibility, and Dolby technology. And if Apple adds spatial audio to a future model, consumers will have another reason to upgrade.